Think back for a moment to your favorite teacher and how much you learned, how much you enjoyed, and what a positive influence on your life. We, of course, all remember our least favorite teachers as well, but all of those teachers over so many years contributed massively to your life, to your success, to your knowledge, to your education, to your entire life. I mean, it's way beyond basic reading, writing, arithmetic, right? Well, we here in the United States have a tendency to absolutely undervalue our teachers. And California Senator and Democratic Party presidential candidate Kamala Harris released a proposal yesterday that I find to be utterly fascinating. She wants to have the federal government, combined with state governments matching, spend up to $315 billion extra over the next 10 years on teacher salaries. That's right, through a combination of direct federal spending and matching from states. The goal is to give the average teacher in the United States a $13,500 pay increase in her first term, and this is by expanding the state taxes, how you pay for it. The average teacher salary is approximately $60,000. That's average across all states, across all education and experience levels. That's the absolute average, okay, the mean. And it's low, by the way. When you think about, and the whole reason for this is when you think about how much education we require teachers to have, how many hours they actually work. I've never understood the people who are like, they get 3 months off in the summer. Have you ever known a teacher? They don't actually get 3 months off. It ends up being about 2 months because they have to stay after the school year ends. They have numerous things that happen before the school year. Maybe it's even a month and a half that they actually get off. In addition, during the school year, they are available way beyond the school hours. Have you ever known a teacher when they have to score tests and they're spending their entire weekend grading essays? They're not just a 40-hour-a-week job, and they're massively influential to the future of our world. So I think it's high time we treat it as a, guess what, highly respected job, a profession, like we do lawyers and doctors, like they do in Finland. It's the country where teaching is a highly prized profession. They're at or near the top of the influential PISA performance rankings since they were first published in 2001. Why? Because they prize it. They emphasize teachers. They honor teachers. They reward teachers. So they produce good teachers, and the teachers stay in the system. We have a problem here in our country where because we don't value them, because parents blame teachers for everything. My child should have gotten an A, not a B, and they go and they attack the teacher. My child screwed up. The teacher also becomes a security guard, a counselor. We underfund counselors in this country. We underfund nurses. We don't have proper security. They do they're you, except they're also supposed to teach, and they got upwards of 40 kids in the classroom at the same time because we don't fund having aides either. It's unbelievable how we have under-supported our teachers. I absolutely 100% supported the teachers' strikes in Los Angeles, in Denver, in Oakland, because they weren't just asking for pay raises. As a matter of fact, in places like LA, it was absolutely nominal, the pay raise they were looking for. They were looking for support because during the Great Recession, they cut nurses, they cut aides, they cut librarians. It's ridiculous. How can you have a library and no librarian? How can you not have a nurse 4 of the 5 days of the school week? That's unfathomable that you don't have a nurse. The teacher's the nurse. The administrators become the nurse. It's unacceptable. So when Senator Harris says, you know what, we need to start paying our teachers a little bit more. 2/3 of Americans support that, by the way. They support that they need to strike for better pay and benefits. 6 in 10 Americans, according to a USA Today Ipsos poll, 6 in 10 Americans believe teachers are not compensated fairly. They're not. So Senator Harris wants to raise the wages. Now, it's expensive. There's a lot of money in this, and I understand that people are going to have an issue with it. Across the hours, that's 20% or so increase in base pay. But again, hey, A doctor who is important, but a cosmetic surgery doctor makes a ton of money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Teachers drop out of teaching because of the abuse, because of the low pay. I can tell you firsthand, I know teachers. I have family members who are teachers. Not one of them is making a killing. It's a shame. So we've had to have programs that we put in place to try and get people to teach. Well, if we actually pay people reasonably, maybe we can get more reasonable teachers. By the way, I'm not saying that all teachers are great, and I sure don't think standardized testing is the way to measure them. We all know who the good teachers are. We all know who the not so good teachers are. We need to have a system in place to move maybe the not so good teachers into other areas where they are better at what they do. If you don't have patience with kids, I don't know, my first and second grade teachers for that matter. My kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Johnson, was wonderful. She was lovely. She was a saint. She had the patience of Job. My first grade teacher, Mrs. Nelson, not so nice. My second grade teacher, Mrs. Sanders, oh boy, she was crabby, really crabby with the kids. My third grade teacher, Mrs. Loger, love. One of the most wonderful human beings to ever walk the planet. She truly was. My fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Curvers, was okay. Fifth grade, I had multiple teachers because one of my teachers, I don't even remember their names because one of them left mid-year because she was having a baby, which was wonderful. Sixth grade, Mr. Olkers, very nice guy. I learned a lot from him. Seventh grade, that's when all of a sudden we had a multitude of teachers. But I learned a lot. I had great science teachers. I had great math teachers, great geography and English teachers just across the board. You know what I'm talking about. We had great teachers. Why did my math teacher have to work a summer job? Because he was paid so low. Now, that was a different time where they were actually able to work multiple jobs. He had a separate job in the summer. But I support Senator Harris. Now, that gets us into, of course, the estate tax. We have State Senator Scott Wiener here in California trying to expand it. That's how Senator Kamala Harris wants to pay for this increase in teachers' pay, is by expanding the estate tax, by removing the trust loophole. I am 100% with her on that. We need to get rid of that. I actually support the estate. I've gone back and forth on the estate tax over the years, so I get all of the arguments. I am against aristocracies ruling America. How do they do that? I'm not just talking about tech billionaires who built something and then they die. I'm talking about I hand wealth through generations, looking at the Walton family, for example, looking at, I don't know, Congressman Sam Farr here, who was my congressman in Santa Cruz. How did he have 2,000 acres in Big Sur? His dad. He got it handed to him. I'm against intergenerational transfer of wealth that empowers a gentry class that rules over us like lords and we're serfs. That is one of the things that we escaped when we broke free of our European bonds. So there are some facts, though, that you need to know about the estate tax. I'm being attacked for even speaking about the estate tax. I get that. I get it. Because people are like, I built this business, I built this farm, I should be able to hand it to my kids scot-free because I paid taxes through my life on the farm. Well, here's some facts about that. I grew up in a family business, by the way. My grandparents started in the depths of the Great Depression. I've started multiple businesses myself. It's not like I'm ignorant to what's involved in a family-owned business. I'm not. But here's a fact. Only 2 out of every 1,000 estates even face the estate tax. $5.4 million per person is the exemption, remember. So that's after $11 million for a couple that it starts to get taxed. Taxable estates only pay 1/6 of their value in tax. That's because, well, so much of it is reduced. They're only, again, due on the portion of the estate that exceeds the exemption level. So, for example, a single person who passes away, a $6 million estate would only owe estate taxes on the $510,000. Plus, heirs shield huge chunks through deductions and other discounts. I do, by the way, I want to get rid of the trust loophole. It's horrible. It's only a handful of small family-owned farms and businesses that even owe any estate tax. By the way, in the tax year 2017, only 80 80 small businesses and small farm estates faced any estate tax. 80 people, 80 estates. That's unbelievable when you think about that, that this is the argument against it. Largest estates consist, by the way, mostly of unrealized capital gains that have never been taxed. So don't give me, hey, I've been taxed on this my whole life. Not if it's unrealized capital gains. Real estate, stock, art collection. It's only when you realize the gain that you pay the taxes. Well, that happens when you die. So that's the deal. She wants to expand the estate tax. It's also very progressive tax. State Senator Scott Wiener wants to do it in California. I support it. I want to hear your thoughts as well. Obviously, you're going to give me your comments on social media as you do. Twitter seems to be the most popular spot for that, but Facebook, Instagram, of course, at Ethan Behrman. And send me your emails, leftcoastnews@ethanbehrman.com.